Good morning, everybody. Happy virtual learning day number 2. This is just a run through for pre-alg and ELA. I will link both of them in both folders. So I'm going to kind of go through both classes at once. We'll start with pre-algebra. So just like yesterday, our virtual learning day folder is here at the top of the class. And when you go into it, you'll see a lot of the same information that's there as usual. You can see our schedule. Our class is scheduled to have a Zoom session at 11:40 for pre-alg and 12:23 for ELA. I will be hosting opening Zoom sessions at both those times. Of course, if you want to work on stuff ahead of time, get it done, that's totally great. Just email me and let me know, and I'll take a look in and grade it. In addition, if if it's after those times, like let's say it's like 1 o'clock or something, or 2 o'clock, and you're working on stuff and you're like, oh geez, I don't know what to do, or I'm stuck on something, again, just email me if you want. I can hop on Zoom. If I'm available, if I'm not in another class, I'm more than happy to even hop on an individual Zoom with you and help you out. So, if that's the case, just let me know. For the lesson overview for today, we're going to do a couple things. Number one, hopefully we'll get to meet and chat via Zoom for a little bit, just sort of check in, see how everybody's doing. I'm going to continue on over those measurement task cards that we were looking at yesterday. And so I'll go over the rest of those here shortly. I do have a booklet review. There's a link right here in the lesson overview. There's also a link in the folder that says booklet review conversions. It's a tower defense game. You guys have played it before, so you know how that goes. Just see how high you can get. Highest score will get a reward when you get back in on Monday. We'll see who had the highest score. I also want you to finish that IXL from yesterday. Some of you did start that yesterday. That's awesome. Some of you did not. That's not as awesome, but hey, things happen. So I'm just going to hopefully finish up that IXL. I am going to be grading it on Monday though, so keep that in mind. If you're taking a look at it and you're getting frustrated, remember, I only want you to spend 15 minutes on it. You spend 15 minutes on it, even if your score is only like 10, 20, 30, whatever, you've got that time there logged, you get full credit, you get 10 points for it. So, don't spin your wheels too much. Don't try to confuse yourself. And then lastly, of course, I have a lesson checkpoint, just like we do every time there's a virtual learning day. So let's take a look first at those conversion task cards that we were looking at. So I'll pop that open here in my browser. Again, we see our cheat sheet. We went over those first couple there. We left off at number 9. So number 9 is we're again finding the greatest length. We have 5 feet or 1.5 yards. Remember that 1.5 yards, you have to think about what that would be in terms of feet. So 1 yard is 3 feet, but half a yard is half of 3 feet. So if I pop a calculator up, which hopefully you can see mine on my screen, I'm not sure, sometimes that doesn't work, but what I have to do is find half of 3 feet. So I take 3 and divide it by 2, and that gives me this 1.5 figure, 1.5 feet. So 3 feet, when I add the 3 feet from the 1 yard and then the 1.5 feet from the half yard, I get 4.5 feet. So of course, 5 feet's bigger than that. Next one is a multi-stepper, 112 inches or 3 yards. Well, I need to know how many inches there are in a yard, so I kind of have to work a couple steps back. Excuse me. So first I need to figure out the number of feet in 3 yards. There's 3 feet in a yard, so 3 times 3, since I'm going from larger to smaller, give me 9. So there's 9 feet in 3 yards, but I want to know the number of inches in 9 feet. So I need to multiply by the number of inches in a foot, which would be 12. That gives me an answer of 108. So in 3 yards, there's 108 inches. Well, 112 is greater length than 108, so we'll go with 112 inches. 99 inches or 3 yards. Well, again, we just figured out, let's work smarter, not harder here. We just figured out there's 108 inches in 3 yards. So in that case, 3 yards is going to be larger than 108 inches. The next one says 11,000 feet or 2 miles. Well, using your conversion fact or your cheat sheet of there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. To figure out the number of feet in 2 miles, I just need to multiply 5,280 times 2. That gives me 10,560. 11,000 feet is bigger. For number 13, what's bigger, 5,000 yards or 3 miles? Again, I have to convert yards into miles. There's 1,760 yards in a mile. That's again coming from this cheat sheet right up here, these units of length. So I have to take 5,000, since I'm going from larger to smaller, or excuse me, smaller to larger, yards are smaller than a mile. Since I'm going smaller to larger, I have to divide. Somebody likes to dance. Remember, lady shot more, somebody likes to dance. So 5,000 divided by 1,760 gives me 2.84, and like this whole huge long decimal number. But look at what we're comparing it to. We're comparing it to 3 miles. So 2.8 something, not quite 3 miles, or 3 miles. Yeah, 3 miles is longer. For number 14, find the greatest length. We have 7,020 feet or 4 miles. Well, again, there's 5,280 feet in a mile. So I'm going to take 5,280. Oops, made a little mistake there. 5,280 and divide it, multiply it by 4. That gives me 21,120 feet. Yeah, that's bigger than 7,020 feet. 3,200 yards or 2 miles. We're going to take that 2 miles times 1,760 yards in a mile. That gives me 3,520. That's larger. So 2 miles is larger there for number 15. Number 16, 51 feet or 18 yards. I need to take that 51 and divide it by 3. Why? Because I'm going from the smaller label of feet to the larger label of yards. And the 3 comes from the fact that there's 3 feet in 1 yard. So I do 51 divided by 3, I get 17. So 18 yards, excuse me, is longer than 17 yards. For the next couple, these are just conversion problems. So 7 feet equals how many inches? Well, the label of feet is larger than the smaller label of inches. So we're going to multiply. But we're going to multiply by what? Well, we're going to multiply by 12 because there's 12 inches in a foot. That gives me 84. So number 17, the answer is 84. For number 18, 24 inches equals how many feet? Maybe just have that memorized that it's 2 feet, or you have to divide since we're going from a smaller label to a larger label. 24 divided by 12 gives me 2. 72 inches equals how many yards? Again, we have to kind of do 2 steps here. How many feet is 72 inches? We'll have to take 72 and divide it by 12 because there's 12 inches in a foot. Gives me 6 feet. Then I have to take that 6 feet and divide it again by 3 because there's 3 feet in 1 yard. So that gives me an answer of 2. So 72 inches is 2 yards. 2 miles. How many yards is 2 miles? Now we're going from a larger label to a smaller label. Ladies shop more. We're going to multiply 2 times, well, what number? Well, the fact that connects yards and miles is the fact that there's 1,760 yards in 1 mile. So 1,760 times 2 gives me an answer of 3,520. For 21, 18 feet equals how many yards? Again, we know the fact that there's 3 feet in 1 yard. I'm going from the smaller label of feet to the larger label of yards. Somebody likes to dance. I'm going to divide. So 18 divided by 3 gives me an answer of 6 yards. So 18 feet is 6 yards. 1.5 feet is how many inches? Now we have to start getting fractions into the mix, but it's okay. Let's just stop and think for a second. 1 foot is 12 inches. So we already know that. For half a foot, we have to take that 12 inches and divide it in half, divided by 2. 12 divided by 2. There we go. 12 divided by 2 gives me an answer of 6. Okay, so there's 6 inches in half a foot. So I add that to the 12 inches I already have from the 1 foot, gives me 18 inches in 1.5 feet. 3 miles equals how many feet? We're going to take the 3 and multiply because we're going from larger label of miles to smaller label of feet. 3 times 5,280 because there's 5,280 feet in a mile gives you an answer of 15,080 840. 24, we have 1 foot, 4 inches. Again, there's 12 inches in 1 foot. I add the 4 inches to that. That's just 16 inches. For 25, 1 yard, 9 inches equals how many inches? Okay, so we already have part of it in inches, but we need to turn that yard into inches. So 1 yard is 3 feet. 3 feet times 12 is 36 inches. I multiply by 12 because there's 12 inches in a foot. So 1 yard is 36 inches, but I take that 36 and add that 9 I have to it because it's 1 yard plus 8 inches or 9 inches. I get 45. So 1 yard, 9 inches is 45 inches. Lastly, 4 yards equals how many feet? Well, I have to take that 4 times 3 because there's 3 yards or 3 feet in the yard, excuse me. 4 times 3 gives me 12, so 4 yards is 12 feet. 2/3 of a yard equals how many feet? Don't overthink this, right? There's 3 feet in a yard, so 2 out of 3 feet in a yard, that's 2 feet. That's it. 60 inches equals how many feet? I have to take 60 and divide it by 12 because there's 12 inches in a foot. That gives me 5 feet. 5,280 yards in a mile. Be very careful here. Yards in 1 mile. No, there's 5,280 feet in a mile. There's 1,760 yards in a mile. So I have to take 5,280. I have to divide it by 5,200. I have to divide by 1,760 and I get 3. That's 3 miles. 10 yards equals how many inches? Well, we kind of already figured out that there's 3 feet in a yard. So 10 yards times 3 would be 30 feet. And then 30 feet times 12 would give me 360 inches. The other thing you can think of is maybe you just sort of made your own fact too of saying, well, there's 36 inches in 1 yard. So 10 times 36 gives you 360. There's more than one way to solve some of these, but as long as you arrive at the answer, that's okay. For number 31, 6 yards equals how many inches? Again, there's 36 inches in a yard, like I just said, so we can take 6 times that 36 inches in a yard and get 216 for number 31. And final, last but not least, 32. 2 feet, 4 inches equals how many inches? Well, 2 feet is 24 inches. We add 4 inches that we have on the side there, we get 28 inches for number 32. I just went over each of these individually just so you can, understand the thought process behind the answer. There is an answer key at the bottom of this document that you can, double check and use by all means. But again, this is just an exercise in helping you practice these conversion facts and these types of problems. Taking a look at the rest of the stuff we have for today. The link for the IXL topic is in there. Just takes you right to Y1 5th grade. You can take a look, at the video from yesterday that I emailed each of you. That explains that one in a little more depth. And then there's of course a link here to do that booklet review as well. Please go ahead and check that out. Give that your best shot. If you have any questions, please let me know. Like I said, I'm available all day via email or Zoom. If you want to hop on Zoom, all I ask is if it's not during our normal class time, just shoot me a quick email to make sure I'm available because I may be in another class depending on what time it is. So either way, just let me know. I'll be available. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye.